Mangwana ni malelepo vukenjani class vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, your portal into Africa's potent stories. Today, we lead with breaking developments from Sudan, where the RSF has unveiled a parallel government in a move threatening national unity. In Somalia, the police are under fire for alleged political entanglements. The DRC braces for government reshuffle as President Tshisekedi signals internal reforms. We also track Donald Trump's surprising peace push in Congo. Aliko Dangote exits as Dangote Cement chairman, and we unpack rising IMF debt concerns. Plus, Talent Gore joins us with a Zimbabwe report. Watch us on DStv 285, GOtv 25, 1up2.com, and NTV Africa on YouTube, as well as Network Media Hub on YouTube. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top story shortly.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
In our top stories, a major political twist has shaken Sudan's already fractured landscape. The Rapid Support Forces, RSF, led by General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, have announced the formation of a parallel government, naming Dagalo as head of a 15-member presidential council. His deputy Abdel Aziz Al-Hiyu and SPLMN rebel group, while Mohamed Hassan Al-Taishi was appointed prime minister. Now, the announcement was made in Nyala, a Darfur city under RSF control. This provocative move deepens Sudan's internal conflict as the army led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan fiercely opposes the new arrangement. The RSF's initiative is part of a wider push to create a secular new Sudan, challenging the legitimacy of the army's administration and eyeing foreign arms deals. Though the military has recently named its own prime minister as well as a cabinet, the announcement from RSF-controlled territory adds urgency to a conflict that has already displaced millions. Both Burhan and Dagalo face U.S. sanctions, with Washington accusing Dagalo of genocide and Burhan of fueling war. The competing power centers now risk driving a humanitarian crisis. In Somalia, concerns over the neutrality of the National Police Force have escalated sharply. Osman Bari, former Speaker of the Hirshabelle Parliament, has accused the police of deeply entrenching themselves in divisive political conflicts. His critique focuses on Police Commander Assad Diado, whom he blames for failing to lead effectively or respond to the grievances of ordinary citizens. According to Bari, the police force's alignment with political factions has eroded public confidence and undermined their role in safeguarding citizens in Somalia. These developments come amid broader efforts to stabilize Somalia after decades of unrest, and the perceived politicization of law enforcement threatens to undo progress made. Analysts argue that the police's entanglement in politics weakens their ability to enforce law and order, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation by opposing factions. Bari has even warned that continued inaction could force the Somali president to intervene directly, potentially endangering Diano's leadership. As public frustration mounts, the pressure on Somalia's police to reclaim their impartiality and effectiveness is growing ever more urgent. Now, the Democratic Republic of Congo appears poised for a significant political shakeup. During a July 25 Council of Ministers meeting, President Felix Tshisekedi indicated that some members were attending their final session, suggesting a looming government reshuffle. The move follows months of speculation and is seen as a response to both internal inefficiencies and external pressures. Notably, Tshisekedi plans to reduce the number of This comes amid ongoing efforts to cut ministry budgets and salaries by public officials, reflecting fiscal constraints. The shakeup also echoes findings from consultations led by presidential advisor Kolongele. In addition, Tshisekedi's recent meetings with opposition figures reflect his push to unify political forces against violence in the volatile eastern region. His comments in February criticizing his own coalition, the Sacred Union, for a reshuffle now appears both a political strategy and a reset effort as DRC grapples with security and economic instability. Staying with DRC, the bold peace initiative by Donald Trump is redrawing geopolitical stakes in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Aimed at resolving conflict in the mineral-rich East, the plan involves brokering the peace deal between DRC and Rwanda, with President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame having met in Washington. Now, the Trump administration sees the agreement as both diplomatic victory and an economic strategy, keeping in mind the two presidents themselves did not meet in Washington, but their representatives did. So he wants to ensure access to critical minerals like cobalt and lithium. The plan includes proposing a regional economic integration framework to curb smuggling and boost investment, but experts are divided. While some hail it as innovative diplomacy, others warn of risks to DRC's sovereignty. Scholar Henry Mostert compares the deal to China's infrastructure for resources approach, raising questions about long-term implications. Meanwhile, US-based companies have been hesitant. Estimated 25 trillion in mineral reserves. The U.S. is eager to compete with China's dominance. The Trump-led model, blending populist diplomacy with commercial interests, could reshape not just DRC's future, but Africa's resource politics. The loss of our top stories. A transformative chapter in African business leadership has come to a close. Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, has officially stepped down as chairman of Dangote Cement. Emmanuel Ikazobo, a seasoned executive with over 40 years of management experience across Africa, has taken over the role. Dangote's departure marks the end of an era in which his leadership helped transform Nigeria from a top cement importer to the continent's leading exporter. Under his guidance, Dangote Cement expanded operations across 9 other African countries and resumed construction on a massive $800 million plant in Ituri. The company described Dangote's exit as aligned with good governance and succession planning. His decision follows his earlier June resignation from Dangote Sugar Refinery, reinforcing a broader leadership transition within his business empire. While the implications for company strategy are yet to unfold, this leadership shift positions Dangote Cement for a new chapter in Pan-African growth and innovation. With a 48.6 million metric ton capacity, the company remains Africa's largest cement producer, and all eyes will now be on how Ikazobo charts its next course. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. Shortly, we'll be talking to talent Gore about the Zimbabwe report as she delivers the Zimbabwe report from Harare. But prior to that, let's have a look at the weather. It's time for us to talk to Talent Gore as she delivers the Zimbabwe report. Talent, Wamkase. Samukaedu. Now, talent, Zimbabwe is launching digital title deeds to modernize property ownership. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Zimbabweans have 24 months to submit their old title deeds for verification under sweeping new regulations published by the government in what officials describe as a move to modernize on fraud. Under Statutory Instrument 76 of 2025, titled the Deeds Register, to replace old title deeds with new digitally secured versions referred to as securitized deeds. These will be registered in an electronic database and backed by enhanced anti-fraud technology. The regulations, which were gazetted this month but will come into force on the date to be announced, give property owners 2 years to validate their deeds or risk their documents becoming legally invalid. The aim is to clean up the deeds registry and transition the country into a secure digital land administration system. The new system will also make it much harder to forge, duplicate, or misplace title documents. Well, this was according to the Ministry of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. So as of now, landowners have been given a total of 2 years or 24 months to transition from the old title deeds to a more securitized database title deeds. So people are required to go to the registry office so that they can transition from the old title deeds to these new title deeds, which they now require to be securitized and they'll be put into an electronic database.
All right, talent. I think that's a really good initiative, especially when it comes to accountability, because especially when it comes to property in particular, I'll speak to you in a language you both understand. Mbava Dzakawanda. There are a lot of thieves there. All right. In the next update, which is certainly just again.
If you have been to Harare, you know that Glenview Area 8 is a furniture complex in which most people they go and get their furniture from that area. And this is the since 2015, this is now the ninth time that the complex has been gutted by fire, and at least 100 traders were left counting their losses after a fire broke out at Glenview Area 8 home industry, destroying property worth hundreds of thousands of dollars on Sunday morning. And soon after, directed that the home industry, they have directed that developers, private sector should come in and build a state-of-the-art home industry from those who are trading at that area. This is not the first time that Glenview Area 8 has been burnt. If you remember last year in October, Sika was also gutted by fire, and the government ordered that they be built a state-of-the-art market for those informal traders. But since then, the informal traders they haven't moved into the new complex. But it's there; it was built for them, but they haven't moved to that new complex. So the same thing is now happening with Glenview Area 8. You realize that at that particular industry, they trade in strictly United States dollars. They do not accept transfers. They only want a cash. So a lot happens in that industry. So now the government is trying to formalize that area by building a state-of-the-art industrial site, and it is expected to start. They are expected to start building in September 2025, and the president will then commission the sites during the first quarter of 2026. So this is not the first time that that industry has been burnt down. This is the ninth time that this has happened, and the government is now stepping in to ensure that they avoid the reoccurrences of these fires. It's the Glenview Area 8 furniture complex.
All right, talent. Now, we're aware of the already prevalent brain drain, particularly in the medical and health industry, and it seems like it's not getting any better because Zimbabwean nurses are in a desperate push to leave the country.
Yes, thousands of nurses across the country are spending almost 2,000 United States dollars each in a desperate effort to leave the country for better paying jobs, only to be denied the crucial verification letters needed to complete the immigration process. Over 6,000 nurses have applied for verification letters at the Nurses Council of Zimbabwe after paying the mandatory 300 United States dollars fee. However, many have not received the documents, leaving them stranded after investing significant amounts of money hoping to secure better opportunities abroad. Nurses spends between 1,430 United States dollars and 2,000 United States dollars for the immigration process. Zimbabwe Nurses Association President Enoch Ndongo described the situation as unjust and financially crippling. He said the current system not only drained the pockets of the healthcare professionals, but also eroded trust in public institutions and contributed to worsening frustration in an already strained in trying to leave the country. But now it has become difficult. Usually, as of now, their documents or the process, they are then denied the necessary documents for them to leave the country, which the nurses are saying that it's unjust and it's frustrating given that they would have paid a huge amount of money, they would have paid their savings, or some would have actually sold their properties so that they can at least try to leave the country for greener pastures. So they're saying that this is unjust and really draining. So they're just hoping that something will be done to address that challenge that they are facing.
All right, talent. Now, in an interesting development in the creative world, some French urban artists are visiting Zimbabwe for cultural exchange. Sounds fun.
Yes, the Alliance Francaise of Zimbabwe is hosting Frenchman urban artist Ella and Peter for an artistic residency in Zimbabwe until August 3, having started on July 12. Hailing from Saint Etienne, a small French city with a coal mining and industrial past, the duo told journalists that they began their collaboration on the streets. They are now recognized worldwide for their monumental and poetic murals as they embark on a creative journey at the crossroads of community art, memory, and tradition. Recently, they returned from an enriching week in Matobo, where they worked alongside Ndebele women painters, learning ancestral techniques using natural pigments. So they're going to be in Zimbabwe up until August 3rd. They have been going around the country learning and also teaching. So there has been a sort of cultural exchange between the Zimbabwe right now. So leaving the country on August 3 when they complete their tour.
All right, talent. In an exciting update, we won't talk about the ownership of the football club because that's its own drama. But what's really cool is that
Yes, Musona is a Zimbabwean football legend, and this past few weeks, Scotland has been recruiting, or rather, has been unveiling legends, if we might call them, in the Zimbabwean football. The former Warriors captain Knowledge Musona has officially joined Scotland FC. The 34-year-old forward joins the Mavuku-based side as a free agent after parting ways with Saudi Arabian club Al Qadr earlier this month. Musona joins his younger brother Walter Msona at Scotland, with the two set to play for the same club for the first time. The former Kaizer Chiefs star will be featuring in the Zimbabwe Premier League for the first time in his career, having left Asa's academy for South Africa back in 2010. Knowledge Musona becomes Scotland's fourth mid-term signing, joining Terence Drukamanja, Kudamiyamba and Moses Shidolo. So Scotland is a new team. It's hardly 3 years, but right now they have been recruiting, or rather they have been unveiling some of the best footballers in the Zimbabwean football. Right now they have Kama Billet. He's regarded as one of the best footballers in Zimbabwe. And right now they have also recruited Knowledge Musona, who has never played in the Zimbabwean Premier League. This is actually his first time after having left in 2010 to go to South Africa. So this is the first time that he will be playing in the Zimbabwean league. So it's right now within the football space, it's quite exciting because we have new teams that are getting that are paying. They are paying good money to these footballers. Those legends like Dynamos, like Caps United, which are down bad. The most likely Dynamos who is going to face relegation, which is something that has never happened. So it's quite interesting what is happening within the football space in Zimbabwe, and we're just going to be looking out to see what Scotland FC and those new teams are going to be bringing into the football scene within the country.
All right, exciting times indeed. Thank you very much, Talent, for delivering the Zimbabwe report.
You're welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
It's always good to have you on Africa. Good morning. Let's have a look at the economic indicators before you return to say goodbye. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning on DStv 285, GOtv 25, and 1up2.com. Keeping in mind, if you go back to 1up2.com, ONEUPTWO.com, click Echo, and you can watch this episode again, as well as other Africa Good Morning episodes and other NTV programs, because on Echo, 1up2.com, primetime is anytime. From the Ashwin Berry and the Africa Good Morning team, we swing back tomorrow with news from Botswana. Soreja Kanaka.